coaching is again an exploratory journey for me. It is not that you don't know and that's why you do it. It is the quest for knowing more. And here the quest for knowing more is knowing myself more. That how do I respond, understand, listen, how do I question? Now, every methodology has a design, and it is very important that even if you know the subject, you know the design part of the subject field. So coaching has always been my interest area. I know this space, but it is, I will put it as a quest to know more and much more deeper. As a human resource practitioner, it is not that one uses only one stream of knowledge. When it comes to application at the work front, okay, it's a very blend of consulting, mentoring, and coaching. And at times, the requirement at the workplace or in the situation is that you switch your hats very often and too fast. Okay, but coaching is, again, as I said, a methodology. Like in the human medicine, every medicine works. But if you take an Ayurvedic route or an allopathic route or a naturopathy or a homeopathy, each must follow its own discipline and design and system. So it's a systemic approach and the design, which is very important, that when you are consciously getting into coaching, then you are also conscious of what not to do in coaching. Okay. Otherwise, it becomes like, okay, you think it as a very open space and you do everything, which may not be the right approach. So it is knowing the design and the science more minutely and being conscious of myself when I'm using it. So that's the thought process through which I enrolled myself into coaching, and that is what I would say. Yes, there has been many shifts, and of course, this program has been over around 14 weeks that we as a group underwent, along with Nitin as a facilitator and many peer participants. So there have been many shifts. The first shift was that, yes, I know this part. So what is more to do? So when I started journey, then I realized that, yes, I know, but there are many things which I should be conscious that I do not know, or I should undo or unlearn. So the unlearning is a conscious shift. Second is that though I knew, but again, realization that how powerful pause and silence could be, how powerful it could be in the human interaction process. And the third shift, I would say that we as HR practitioner, by expectation of the role, is to solve the world's or the organization's all problems. That is what is expected out of us. But in coaching, the realization is that, first of all, you should not be feeling burdened to solve everything, because you are not expected to solve. And even if there is an expectation, you should not solve. So this was another shift. Fourth shift is that, despite of a fair degree of understanding and even after coaching, a lot of reflections and realizations have happened. But again, the realization and the shift is that there is so much to explore. So it is like the vast expanse and the opportunities of exploration is very important. The another shift is that most of the time the client do come with seeking solution, and it is not easy to make them understand that it is not me who has to provide, but it is you who has to find your own answer. Now this is a difficult part. So this is another shift which has happened. So I would say that towards the end of coaching, and my journey still continues, I have become more conscious of what is to be done and what is not to be done. I have become conscious of what cannot be done, and even not doing is also fine. Not solving is also fine, because for every problem, the moment when we are dealing with the problem may not be the only opportunity when it can be addressed or solved. It can happen later. So there are multiple things, but these are some of the things which I can say the shift have happened. I would say the meaningfulness of my conversation has improved, which means the realization that every time the response is not needed. Okay, you can still convey through silence. You can convey through the postponing your response. So this is one part. So realization of always not responding or reacting is required. The second is that, which is, I would say, one of the very important realization is that it is very important to understand the person from his or her perspective. I think we as human beings, most of the time, and it happens with most of the people, that we always think, judge, understand the other person from our perspective. And this has given me reflection that there is a huge opportunity and huge meaning in understanding the person or listening to the person from their perspective, because then the connection becomes important and the connection becomes meaningful and more sincere. So these are the two things which I would say is very important realization, and it has made a positive impact.